George Washington was born on February 22, 1732, in Westmoreland County, Virginia. From an early age, his life was shaped by the responsibilities of managing land and family. His father's death when George was just 11 years old meant he had to grow up quickly. With limited formal schooling, he learned practical skills as a land surveyor, traveling through the rugged and often unexplored regions of colonial America. This experience fostered not only his sense of adventure, but also a remarkable resilience and determination, qualities that would define his future leadership. As a young man, Washington was drawn to military service. During the French and Indian War, he served as a lieutenant colonel for the British colonial forces. Though he faced both triumphs and failures, those early battles taught him the importance of discipline, strategy, and unity under pressure. At the time, few could have predicted that these lessons would pave the way for his eventual role in leading an entire nation to independence. When tensions between the American colonies and Great Britain erupted in the 1770s, Washington emerged as a prominent figure. In 1775, the Second Continental Congress appointed him Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Leading a group of untested soldiers against one of the world's most powerful armies was a daunting responsibility. Yet Washington's ability to inspire loyalty and confidence helped the American cause survive some of its darkest moments. His leadership at battles such as Trenton and Princeton, where he launched bold attacks against British and Hessian forces, demonstrated strategic brilliance and boosted morale across the colonies. Despite harsh winters, inadequate supplies, and immense hardships, Washington remained steadfast. He understood that victory could not be won in a single battle. Rather, it required patience, coalition building, and unwavering perseverance. His resolve was especially tested at Valley Forge during the winter of 1777-1778, when troops faced brutal cold, disease, and shortages of food and clothing. Even then, Washington never wavered, pushing to train his army and solidify its discipline. By the end of the war in 1783, his leadership had guided the colonies to a hard-fought and nearly unimaginable victory over the British. With independence secured, the new nation faced the daunting task of governing itself. In 1787, the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia produced the framework for a stronger federal government, and Washington's reputation for fairness and integrity made him a natural choice to serve as the first president of the United States. Elected unanimously in 1789, he moved to New York City, then the temporary capital, to begin shaping the office and the nation's political structures. During this time, he established key precedents, including the formation of a cabinet to advise him on domestic and foreign matters, and he affirmed the importance of checks and balances within government. Although he held significant power, Washington worked to ensure that the presidency would never become a monarchy. He encouraged open debate within his cabinet, which included figures such as Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton, who had starkly different views on economic policy and federal authority. By managing these rivalries and maintaining a careful balance, Washington demonstrated the importance of governance through consensus and dialogue rather than force. Under his leadership, the United States made treaties to secure its borders, managed conflicts on the frontier, and stabilized its financial system through a national bank. Washington also navigated complex relations with European powers by maintaining a stance of neutrality, aware that the young nation could not afford entanglement in foreign wars. He believed that America's growth and stability depended on avoiding unnecessary conflicts abroad and focusing on building its own institutions at home. After serving 2 terms, Washington made the decision to step down from the presidency in 1797. He believed that transferring power peacefully would strengthen the nation's commitment to democratic ideals. In his farewell address, he warned against sectionalism and the dangers of political factions, emphasizing the need for national unity. Many of his cautions have resonated through the centuries, reflecting timeless concerns about partisanship and external influence on domestic affairs. Retiring to his estate at Mount Vernon, Washington hoped to live out his remaining years in relative peace. Yet, he continued to receive requests for guidance and refused to abandon the cause of his country entirely. He passed away on December 14, 1799, at the age of 67, leaving behind a legacy that shaped not only the presidency, but the very fabric of the United States. In the eyes of many Americans, George Washington remains the father of his country, a figure whose steady leadership set foundational principles for a new kind of government. His emphasis on unity, duty, and moral character still informs the nation's political culture. Whether celebrated for his military triumphs or for his peaceful transition of power, George Washington stands as a defining example of what it means to serve a republic, guiding a young nation from revolution toward a future built on freedom and self-governance.